So, sorry about my voice. I've gotten a cold and at least I can talk now. Couldn't talk a couple days ago, so there's something to that. So we're going to continue with the Tardieu book. We're going into the next chapter, which is the Blitz. And Blitz is always exciting. So we're going to look at a number of Blitz problems and try to cover tease out the fundamentals from this, from the problems that Tardieu gives, and Tardieu always has great problems to review. So double threes to play. What do we play here? And
You're asking us?
yes,
Off with his head.
off with his head. So, well, okay. So what are the, first of all, what are the reasonable plays that we would consider? I mean, you can make the prime. Let's stick with that. So Kit's saying 8-2, point on him. I presume that's what you mean. Point on his head. And that is the right play. But what about making the 5 prime? And why is that's wrong, but why is it wrong?
Well, priming doesn't accomplish anything because black has plenty of time and it gives black his full role to make a counter prime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we have 2 checkers to get out, and black only has 1, which makes priming him harder.
Yeah, a couple of things. Black has great timing, and also black has a pretty good position here to make his own prime. With, by either making the bar or the 5 point, a lot of ammunition to do all of that. We'll be up in the race after the roll, so behind that. That's a little bit. I mean, when you're ahead in the race, you generally less likely to prime. Joey's point that you want to attack a single checker in general and prime more than one checker. Those are all kind of clues. Another thought here's black has a blot out there. If you put him on the board, you're going to have a blot that you can pick up, giving you extra gammons. Although I think what's likely to happen is unless black comes in and hits you, you're likely to double them out next time. So let's look at the answers. But yeah, by far, going for the blitzing play, put him on the head, and I guess the chapter of this book kind of gave that one away. But if you didn't know this was a chapter on blitzing, you would probably consider the priming, because priming is usually a good alternative, just not in this case, because blitzing is so much better. Let's go to the explanation that he gives, kind of a summary. And again, some of these are really good. Some of them sort of don't help. But this one says prime when your opponent has several checkers back and blitz a lone back checker. And so that's what Joe said. And that's true. I think Kit's point is probably more salient in that black has a lot of stuff going on here. And let's put black on the defensive before he can take advantage. It's almost like a tempo hit, and it's certainly not just a tempo hit, but we have the tempo hit type of advantage, which because it prevents black from doing anything constructive, absent a joker. I mean, if he gets double 1s or double 3s, which are good rolls anyway, that's fine. Or if black comes in and hits us, that's not so great either. But all things considered, this is by the best thing we can do with that, and it shows. Anything else is a blunder from this position. Okay. Next one. So our blitz is pretty well established. But now how do we bring it home? So what would be the reasonable plays here?
Two builders are better than one.
Yeah. Certainly. So, well, so, what could we do? We could bring someone around. Again, the 18 that we could lift. But there's I like this example because this is I wouldn't say a trick, but a common play that comes up fairly common, I guess.
Move the point to the builders, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, what did you say?
Move the point to the builders if you can't.
That's right. Yeah, yes.
Move the builders to the point.
Normally you want to bring your builders around to cover the point. In this case, you can move the 5 to the 3, and that moves the point to where you have builders. Now, that's something that everyone should be aware of because it's not intuitive, I guess, unless you played a lot of these blitzing games. So, so that that should be kind of your something to always consider. And so, if that's your 2, where's the 5?
6 off the 16.
Yeah, 16 here. Now you've got
Yeah, you got builder.
two direct builders there. And I would say that's a common one that sort of beginners or people unfamiliar with blitz miss.
Mm.
That's not right.
Mm-mm.
All right.
No, you wouldn't lift here, I wouldn't think. I don't know what that's
Make
doing.
sure I have the thing right here. Oh, sorry, we've already cubed.
Mm.
Yeah, if we haven't cubed yet, then save it. Then we're not going to get a gammon, so we should just take the point. So here we're looking to get the gammon. And so here the best play is to bring the point to the builders, as Kit said, bringing the builder in. And the next play is bringing another one closer. This is an 8 or a 6, so 8's not too bad. And these others, again, bringing an 8 or a 6, but stepping up to make it easier. So, but again, the biggest play is to switch the point and bring in more builders. Tardieu's explanation here is in a blitz, the order of points counts for little. Try to maximize the rolls that will let you close out your inner board, which is another point that is important here. When you're doing the blitz, really one point is as good as another in most cases. So moving the point up, it doesn't matter, even though that you're giving up the valuable high point to make the 3-point. And a blitz, it's not it's not necessarily more valuable. It's still a 5-point board. All right, next position. So here's another common dilemma that we have. So what are the 2 plays that you would consider?
Well, one is make the 5-point.
And make the 4-point.
Make the 4-point, yeah. Yeah, you make the 4-point, 4 and 3. And certainly that gives you a 5-point board. Your risk is that he'll anchor with it rolling a 3. Typically, though, you're going to want to prevent black from anchoring, which normally means hitting him, putting him back on the bar.
Black's got a pretty strong board, though.
Yeah, which is a good point. And so you're looking at, okay, we can fake the 5 prime, and if black anchors, we're looking at this. Or we can hit.
Let's put it this way. If I knew he was going to roll a 3, I think
Yeah.
I'd rather make the 4-point than hit and be hit back.
Yeah.
Of course, he might not roll a 3.
Yeah. So we did something like that, but black rolls a 3,
Mhm.
and that now we're stuck on the bar behind this mess.
Mhm. Hmm.
Okay, so
I
the
just don't
answer
think
is
you let
gonna-
him anchor.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
would hit. I would hit.
You would hit, yeah.
I don't know if it's right or not, but I would hit.
Okay, it's going to be right. Well, it's going to be right to make the point here.
Yeah.
And it's just over the blunder level. So and the reason is as Kit said is because of the board. Now, what happens if you take away black's board?
Well, there are 2 reasons. One, the other is that our ammunition, we don't have that much ammunition to follow through. If we hit loose and it works.
Yeah, okay, so we've got 2s. Well, we have some. I guess it's if we had more.
If we had more ammo, or if black's board were weaker, the hitting might be right.
What if we bring this one up? Now we have more ammo. It's closer
Mhm.
because we've got the extra. Well, I guess we don't even use it. We don't break this point, so come in. Okay. Let's put it back. Well, let's look at a weakened board. Now, this is not nothing because he's got this 3' and an extra point.
Mhm.
But the question is it enough that we're going to worry about hitting him versus making a point? So, and the answer is it's pretty close.
Mhm. So Kit's point about a good board was the main thing.
I would say it's a fundamental thing. Let's look at a nothing board. And now the hit is definitely right. Although this is still not a bad play. But here black has almost nothing. I guess he's got the bar point, but so it's not quite nothing. But so here the better play is to hit, or even this way, and then but making the 5' is not terrible. So I would get the absence of anything else. You can't go too far wrong making the 5'. In this situation, we don't have to bring another check around. If black does anchor here, we're not in bad shape anyway. So it's not terrible. You're going to give up probably a lot of gammons doing that. But this, barring a joker, double 3s or double 4s, really, I guess it's really only 3. We're not in terrible shape here either. Because we're not going to have trouble coming in. Well, double 3s is not so good for us, but we're not going to have trouble coming in, and we should still be able to carry the day on this one with that. But again, it is contrast that with a much more imposing board and a really broken 5' where it's just this is a blunder it's a blunder to hit. All the hitting plays are blunders pretty much. Okay, so his explanation here is right one. If it will be tricky to bring home a checker after a hit, it's better to make a board point than to hit loose. Which is another, when he says tricky to bring home a checker, he means if they have a better board. Interesting. I wonder Now he doesn't have the, he's still got a strong board, but this prime is not so great as it was. And here, but it still matter. Again, it's closer. But now it's closer. So that I guess that kind of makes his point. It's not just the board, it's also, well, if you come in, how easy it's going to be to get out. So if you come in on the ace or two here after getting hit, you have a problem and coming out. Here, if you come in the ace or two after getting hit, it's less of a problem. Still not something you want to run into, but it's far less as a problem than if black has the bar point. Okay. Problem 4. So we have sort of a similar problem, although first you have to see it.
Yeah, okay, I'll give my usual answer.
What's the usual answer? First of all,
Off with his head.
Mhm.
okay. So where are you going to hit him from? That's the first thing to see that a lot of people are going to miss.
Any place I can.
Yeah, well,
The
in
only
this
place you
particular
can.
case, the point is you can come around from the 21 here, 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 and here. So that's really the choice. You want to hit him, put him back on the bar, or now here we have a case where you can make it to 2 points, so you can get the 5 prime. And so it's somewhat similar to what we had before in that, oh, I missed some. There we go. I lost them. It's somewhat similar. It's a 5 prime versus a 4 prime. I'm sorry, the 5-point board versus a 4-point board with a block. So what is the better one? Kitz has given his opinion. And so as usual, Kit is right, but what's the key features here that are going to point at?
Well, a 4-point board versus a 3-point board, and we're anchored, and he has a blot. So even if he hits on a 5-point, it's not. We still got a lot of good things that can happen. A lot of return shots.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't hit, then we're really looking good.
Yeah, we've already got 3 builders to make the point, and then we're in great shape from there. We do have the anchor, so we're not really going to have. Yeah, it's a 3 prime. It's not nothing, but we're not really going to be that worried about it. If he does, well, the other thing is if he does anchor here, that's a problem for us.
Mm-hmm.
Because now he's got the outfield covered, and our outfield covered.
Yep.
And
so we really don't want him to make that point here.
look at this here. Let's say you knew he was going to roll a 5. Which play would you rather have made?
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's a great question.
I mean,
You'd
he
still
doesn't
rather
roll a 5, you know that
hit him.
hitting was better.
Yeah.
But even if he does, even if you know he's going to roll a 5, hitting might be better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean,
yeah.
So if he rolls a 5, and let's say he doesn't roll double 5s or 5-2, this is where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
So we can hit this blot, or we should be able to come in. Lots of shots, lots of rolls are going to hit again, and we're still going to have at least 2 covers for that. Whereas if we make, let's see, say we do this. And now he rolls a 5.
Mm-hmm. We're hurting.
Yeah, we've got a gauntlet to run here. We've got 3 blots lying around, no landing points yet in either outfield. Black's got, again, this is It's only a 2-point board, but there's ammunition here and it's not nothing here. Plus he's got the anchor.
Mhm.
And he's going and the ability to hit us in the outfield. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be clearly better
Mhm.
to make the 5. I'm sorry, to hit loose here in the 5.
I mean, did we already screw up by not cubing this?
You know, it probably is cute already. I keep forgetting to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure this would be cute. But yeah, so here. And it's a pretty big blunder to do anything else. Other than well, it's a big blunder to not hit this one.
Mhm.
So there are two things here. One is you have to see it. And you know, a lot of people, sort of beginners or intermediates, might miss it. Probably a fair number of advanced players might miss it too, because it's a long way around the board. But and if you do miss it, you're going to make a big blunder. But having seen it, you've also got to recognize that it's better. And as Kip points out, even if you know black's going to roll a 5, you're better off hitting here than letting him anchor there on the 5-point.
Mhm.
Tardieu's explanation for this is, with a weak enemy board and a blot to hit, it's better to have two of your opponent's checkers on the bar against the 4-point board than one checker against the 5-point board. I'm not sure that he emphasized the right points there. I guess that's true, but I think Kit's point is better. You're better off hitting him here.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't call this that, it's a weaker board, I guess, but it's not that weak. It's given that the bar point is there too.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Let's see.
if your open point were, the deuce or ace point, then it might be another story. So I wouldn't.
Yeah. Let's look at how
Others,
much the blot matters here. And okay, it matters a little bit. It's still a blunder
Mhm.
to not hit. So the blot adds to it, but it's not really, it's not the determining factor.
Mhm.
yeah. The point I'm making is let's suppose his blot were on your 2-point, and you rolled a number where you could either make your 5-point or hit loose on the 2-point. And my guess would be it would probably be right to make the 5-point in most positions.
So let's look at that.
Like if you rolled a 3-1 or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. So, well, this is a good. So you're either gonna make your 5-point or you're gonna hit loose there.
Mhm.
Um.
Hmm.
So I would think you'd make the 5-point here.
Yeah. The difference is if he anchors on your 2-point, so what? You still have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it turns out to be
Yeah.
close. Yeah,
It's close. Yeah.
I didn't know what all the parameters were.
Yeah. Okay. Let's look at this one.
I'd hit on the 2-point.
Here, yeah. Here, I think you'd hit on the 2-point and
Mhm.
Oh, if you can make the 2-point and not
yeah,
be hitting
yeah.
loose, that's another story.
Yeah, it's hard to not do that, to not make the 2-point when you can point on his head.
That's not going
Although,
to
let's see, this is making, okay, so all the top plays,
that's not going to be close.
yeah. And here's just ignoring it. And that's a blunder. Yeah. So yeah, but maybe that's too not a difficult choice to make here. But I think the 3-1 is more interesting.
Mm.
Whether you want to break the point or hit loose to prevent the anchor, or now here I wonder if this lot matters. I would think it would matter more.
I'm sure it matters.
So yeah, now it was a toss up before when the
Mhm.
blot was there.
Mhm.
Now when there's no blot, it's make the 5 line. Okay. All right. Last one for today. Yeah, so here's another tricky, but what are the things to consider here?
Getting out of dodge or making the point, improving
Yeah,
your
we can make
blitz.
a point. We can make the ace point, which is always good, making another point on a blitz.
Yeah,
Even though the
trouble
ace.
making the ace point is you lose 2 builders in the
Mhm.
3-point.
Yeah, you'd really rather make the 3-point, even though 1 point is often as good as another, but you do give up 2 builders for the 3-point, and you would rather. I mean, we say that the same, but they're more the same and not exactly the same, I would say.
Well, plus I've had so many times when I've made a great point, but then I'm stuck back with Junior back there on the 24 point and can't get out and have to.
Yeah. I mean, the real question here is we're getting toward the end of the splits, and we still have a straggler back here,
Mhm.
and we have a 4 prime, which is not uh, is not as bad as a 5 prime, but it's not nothing either.
Well,
Right.
the big consideration is, let's suppose you make some play which leaves the checker back on the 24 point, and he enters with 1 checker, and you hit loose, and he hits back. Now you're going to have 2 men stuck behind
Right.
4 prime. I would be inclined to run.
Yeah.
Plus, you have so many builders already.
Well, you can never have enough builders.
But I'm saying
Well,
to balance out keeping Junior back there,
yeah. Well,
it's not like you're giving up a blitz by running. You still have the blitz
yeah.
potential.
Oh, for sure.
It's also true that you can't add to your builders here.
Mhm. A
The
little bit.
6 or the 3 doesn't add
Oh,
to
you
your
can
builders.
add quantity, but you can't add quality.
Right. You can't. Yeah. You can add the numbers, but you can't add a different. You can't put a checker here to give you a 6 to play, or a checker here to
The
give you a
numbers are
3.
pretty important. Even if you got 2 in the same place, because you use one of them, the other one is there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yes. That's true as well. So, what are the potential plays? We can make the ace point. That would be good. We can run out. That's certainly good. With 2 on the bar, we're not really in danger too much. Maybe a double 1s or double 3s is what might hurt us. We could do sort of a half and half and step up and come down. Yeah, bringing an extra builder, even though it's not quite there. Although it's the bar point, that's part of the prime, so that there's a little extra value there.
Mhm.
So how do we weigh these factors?
I mean,
I would.
that 24 to 15 accomplishes something very important.
Yeah.
Mhm. While still keeping the blitz very active. So.
Yeah. Yeah, barring the Joker,
Yeah,
threes or ones, the blitz is still going on.
right.
You didn't really, and so it's the question is, what's the best thing you can do here? And it turns out that, the best thing you can do is to run out. It takes care of a problem now that you're going to have to deal with eventually. And then you couldn't, the alternatives weren't that spectacular, I guess. Again, these other plays, they're not bad. The half and half play,
Mhm.
bringing that extra builder down, that's certainly useful. It's an extra number, an extra checker in the zone. It's also part of the prime.
Oh,
So
I
that's
mean,
good.
the quality makes a difference. Like if the 6-3 made the 3-point, I would take that over running.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, the 6-3 makes the 3-point.
Hmm.
And here running. Oh, look at that.
Mhm.
That's interesting. So actually, even making the point is not right here.
Mhm.
It's coming out. Coming out is second best. Now it's coming down.
Yeah, well, it's
Which
five.
now we're bringing that extra. We're bringing an extra
Four
builder in.
builders for the ace and 5 for the 3. Pretty strong.
I'm sorry. What did you say, kid? I missed it.
I said that you'd have 4 builders for the ace point and 5 builders for the 3-point. So wherever he
Yeah.
comes in,
Mhm.
you'll have a good chance of going after him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So the explanation for this one is when a blitz is coming to a head, your priority is to escape any lingering back checkers now, so you won't risk crunching your board later. Which is true, but again, there are all the other considerations too. What else can you do? And here, running out is still not bad, but this is also pretty strong play. We haven't quite run out, but we're close to it.
Mhm.
All right, so actually, let's do one more since we're here. So what do we do with this one?
Well, the 5 is easy.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, so unless you're a beginner or a novice, or you're not familiar with blitzes, this is a must hit.
Mhm.
You must hit here. And then the question is, what do you do with the ace?
I think you pick and poo.
Yeah, so yeah, you can pick it up so that you don't get hit against the 4-point board. Although there is a blot here, so that's a problem. Or you come up someplace else. You only have we only have one cover here, so that's not great. We can step up with this ace, and that's okay. We're not giving a direct shot with a joker with a 3-6. So the question is, do you lift here or not? So, Kid, I think you think we should lift.
I think so. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I'm going to say, because this checker is here, that maybe we don't.
Mhm.
I think if this checker weren't here,
Yeah.
well, there are a couple of variables. We only have one cover. So if you had more than one cover, you're more inclined to stay. If you have a blot, you're more inclined to stay as well.
Yeah, but 5 point board, 4 point board with a blot, and we're anchored on a nice spot.
Yeah,
So it's not, there's still life after death if we are hit.
yeah, yeah. And black has a lot of checkers to bring around. So let's look at all these. The answer here is not to cover, although it's pretty close. If you lifted that, I wouldn't worry about destroying my PR for that. And it would save a lot of angst.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're playing doubles and say your wife is afraid, like I do, of getting hit back and will get angry at you if you get hit back. Sometimes that's a good reason to lift, even if it may not be exactly the best play.
Mm-hmm.
But let's look at now, let's take this checker away.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still right. Yeah, it's just closer.
No, very close. Pick them.
Yeah. All right. Well, I already did it. So yeah. So staying
So, so lifting is really wrong here.
it's where's the lift? Oh, here's the lift.
It's bad.
Yes, lifting is wrong here.
I guess the thing is that
Oh, that's
that when you lift, you're basically giving him like 4 rolls to roll a 3, and you can't do anything about it.
yeah,
So
now I'm surprised because lifting is a blunder here, but when you had I see. I guess the answer is that this blot here is both an asset and a liability. If we hit it, it's great for us. But if he covers it, now we have a problem.
right.
Whereas here,
Mm-hmm.
we can't hit it, but he's not likely to make the point. And so we can always come in. So that's something I wasn't thinking of.
Yeah, good point.
Because now, this is a blunder to pick and pass here. And as Kit said, I think, yeah, Kit makes a good point in that if we don't make this point now, when are we going to make it? We've got all these checkers that aren't even close. And okay, granted, we have a checker here to hit loose, but we can't make the point with a single checker.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, I mean we'll never make the point if we lift. We just have to
Right.
hope he doesn't come in for a while, and we scramble around.
Yeah.
But it's better to just try and close him out immediately.
Yeah. Let's see if it's the 5-point board. Same situation. Although now not the same situation. Now it's a toss up. Pick and pass is okay.
No, it's not a toss-up.
Oh, it's
Pick and
not
pass
pick and
is still
pass.
pretty
Oh,
bad.
I'm sorry, this is the pick and pass. Okay, but I see. So the pick and pass is still not good, even though it's not a stronger board. This is a point switch, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And this is just the straight hit.
Well, I don't think the ace is important. Whatever you do.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. These are all what do you do with the ace? It's the real question is, do you lift it or
Yeah.
not?
Mm-hmm.
And so here, even though this point is border, it's now it's not a blunder, but it's a bigger error to lift it. And yeah, I guess that's the same explanation. You've got a lot of rolls to bring these checkers around, either to come in safely or to make the point. And so black, therefore, is going to have a lot of rolls to come in. And once black comes in, you're kind of vulnerable here. I think that was all we wanted to look at. Okay, so the explanation for this one from Mr. Tardieu was
Can you set up
Yeah.
the original position? I just want to see something. Set up the original. Now take those men on the 20 point and move them to the midpoint, and to see how much difference that makes. Aha! That's the key. That those men are too far away.
Right.
Hmm.
Too far away to come in and help anytime soon.
Right, right.
Now that they're closer, they're one
Mm.
roll puts you within range pretty much.
Well, it's not range to close them out, is that you don't,
Or to come in.
even if it comes in the next 2 or 3 rolls, you're okay. You've solved your
Yeah.
main problems. Whereas if you lift and he doesn't come in, you've still got to get those checkers out, and he's got other rolls will have more
Right.
rolls to come in. Okay, that's the key, that your men are too far. You're too far back to just win the game. Okay. That was the key. I knew I was missing something in this position.
Yeah.
Well, also, is it also a fact that you don't have an anchor now, a safe haven, if you
No,
do get hit?
you're not worried about safety. We're just worried. I mean, we're planning on. In other words, let's say we do anything, and he doesn't come in. We're going to be moving off that anchor the next roll anyway. Whatever we roll, assuming we can't close him out.
Right.
Safety doesn't matter here. Safety of the
I was
anchor.
just saying, if I feel better about leaving a blot if I'm anchored on a 20 point than I do if I have no anchor. That's my point.
No, I don't think that's too relevant here.
Okay.
Well, here we're not. Well, yeah, actually, that's probably secondary. We still have the 5 to come in on. I guess we don't have it. If we miss it, we may lose that chance.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, if
but
we
yeah,
get
I
hit,
think
there's 5 points still open. We
Yeah,
can still come
right.
in there. It's not like he's suddenly going to make it on us.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah. All right. So with that will conclude session for now, and we'll pick this up. There are a bunch of more problems we'll pick up next week.